let's get this episode started.
You want to start it the right way?
What are we up to? Episode 21?
This was episode 143.
Why do you always go to that number, 143?
I have. Anyways, well, hey, man. Welcome back to the studio.
Great to be here.
Jeff Stevens, right?
That's me.
Yeah, I never do introduce you. I'm Aaron Gustin, and we're here on the Secret VCG Experience. Is that right?
That's what they say.
It's in all the new podcast articles.
Is it?
No.
Oh, shucks.
We should have AI write one, though, to really promote us. Write that down in your...
It's getting better all the time.
Did you start your timer? Because we're officially on the clock.
All right. It's the keeper of the clock has been slacking the last couple episodes. I'm not going to lie.
I've seen you do better work. Well, hey, we can't make today about us.
Let's get to our distinguished guest of the day.
We do have a very special guest in the studio with us today. If you were at Dirty Bird Stadium, you'll know that LeeAnn Woda was, how did they pronounce it? Welcome,
Woda.
Woda.
Mm-hmm.
LeeAnn Woda from the home office is in studio with us today. Welcome, LeeAnn.
You.
Most importantly, thank you for agreeing to do this.
Thank you.
Even though I answered no on the survey, just for the record. But
did you put no on there?
I really did.
You're such a good sport. That's cool. Thanks. Seriously.
I can't say no to anybody's face. I can say it in writing.
That's why we didn't email this invitation. We went right over and asked.
I probably would have just deleted it.
Yeah.
He says no to my face all the time.
It brings me the most pleasure. Hey, so thanks for coming down. So welcome to the podcast. Have you got a chance to watch any of the podcasts?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Very entertaining.
Well, yeah. My parents don't think so, but I'm just kidding. Bill and Brenda doesn't watch. But they could. They may watch at some point.
I would I dap up Bill and Brenda pretty frequently. I'm big Bill and Brenda fans.
Speaking of which, hold on a minute. I think this is really important for me to I got a text message from Joe Dunlap.
My mom.
Yeah, Jeff's mom texted me the other day, and she had dropped some princess things off for my daughter that is switching out of Rachel's room at her house.
Yep.
And her text message, I said, perfect, thank you, Emma will love them. Thank you for thinking of us. Her reply was, you're welcome. Anything for my favorite podcast host. You're a star. And put a star emoji. And then followed up with this. By the way, jellyfish do hurt like crazy.
Well, you're my favorite podcast host, too.
Well, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, what a compliment. Joe's the best. Joe, thank you.
Need some therapy over that, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, my mom loves me and I love her. Love you, Mom.
So there's that.
I'm not going to let you get in my head. Son.
Oh, I'm in there. I live in there. So, LeeAnn.
Yes.
How long have you been at Village Caregiving?
3 years this month.
3 years this month. And from what I can remember, you and I both came into this destiny through the same highway, and that's the Ben Keenan Highway. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
How did you know Ben before Village Caregiving?
So Ben and I go way back to our banking days. So yeah, we were worked at a bank together for several years. I had kind of a regional position there, and he was one of our district managers in my office. My home office sat in his branch, so we worked together pretty frequently.
I see. So you used to spend days with Ben Keenan.
Yeah.
Let's go down that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, so back in the day, you've been with Village Caregiving for several years. When you came over, you came in and you were kind of the genesis of centralized billing for Village Caregiving. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I believe so, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah.
That was about the time that the branches kind of quit doing. I'm talking a little bit more about. I cheated a little bit. Let me just say that. All right. When I joined Village Caregiving, Ben kind of did that stuff for me. So
then you come on board and LeeAnn did all the hard work.
Exactly. So yeah. So that little short right before LeeAnn joined, Ben was already doing the kind of Kentucky billing stuff centrally, and then passed it over to LeeAnn. So I don't remember a time before that. So anytime I talk about the old days, I don't remember that.
Not the true old days.
No. So you became the kind of the primary biller for Village Caregiving. Is that right?
Yep.
And you work at the home office.
Yep.
And Barbersville is home, right?
Barbersville is home.
Now, if I know anything about LeeAnn Woda, it's this, that LeeAnn is a great mom for all the kids at Barbersville Elementary. Is that right?
I try to be. I love them. For sure.
So that's a passion of yours, right?
Yes.
If anyone follows you on social media, if they spend any time with you, your boys are going to come up in conversation. You're a huge supporter of the school system in Barbersville. I mean, I know that if you're not at the school, you're at the ball fields, or you're doing something in between. What is it about you that's a passion thing for you? Is that?
I mean, I've always loved kids. I mean, even before I was kind of late to the party having my own kids. And so my friends all had kids. And so they were kind of like my nieces and nephews. And so I've always just enjoyed being around kids. And once my oldest started kindergarten at the elementary school, which is just around the corner from the home office, once he started there, I just really enjoyed getting involved. A lot of my friends are teachers at the school. So, you know, I want to support the kids, but also want to support my friends who are teaching and working there. My mom's a retired teacher. My husband is a former teacher. So, you know, a lot of educators in my family. So I've always been really passionate about education. So
Cool. Are you from Barbersville? Is that where home was? Was you born and raised in Barbersville?
I was born and raised in Barbersville. Lived there my whole life, except for a little stint we lived in South Point, and then we moved right back to Barbersville.
Now you're talking near and dear to his
Yeah.
Ohio.
I know.
I knew you had some Ohio in you
Yeah.
somewhere there. I recognized it.
I heard this morning
Just a few years, but
through the ceiling,
Oh,
because his office is right above mine, that they were really crushing you on some Ohio, just teasing you and getting on you.
They were not teasing
I
me.
couldn't
They-
hear that every detail, but what was going on?
Well, number one, Chandler in HR at the home office said that Philadelphia was better than Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland combined. Okay, number one. That's what he gave. All of his years of life knowledge. I mean, he's 14, for the love of God. Anyways, yeah, they were really trashing Ohio. Basically, everyone in the room was putting it in the bottom 10 of all states in the United States.
They were probably just getting on you.
I don't think that honestly it looked like.
Anyways,
okay.
I derailed us again, but I
Yeah.
can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old Rachel, there's nobody in the whole world that she likes any more than LeeAnn Woda. Talk about being a mom to all the kids in Barbersville.
she's my best bud.
She comes and hangs out while you're trying to work, and I'm like, are you sure this is okay? Because she's a big talker.
Hey, it's all right. Not when she's watching her shows. So
Oh, really?
she'll watch. Yeah.
Okay.
She's actually asked me, LeeAnn, can we just watch my show? Like, I
Yeah.
ask her too many questions
She'll
about
get
school.
to the point.
Yeah.
Remember the one time whenever I was just going to hang out? This was early on, right? So I've learned now that I'm really not supposed to be there.
not
when they're
welcome. It's girl time.
It's girl time. And I was just sitting around talking, and she's real politely was like, Daddy, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but could you please leave?
Ouch.
She really
meant it
did.
sweetly.
She did. Very sweetly.
I've
but
asked him to do that as well.
he doesn't. Maybe you should have Rachel ask him for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
You're
Jeff.
not getting rid of me.
Hey, Jeff. Quick question. Anyways, oddly enough, I was at a luncheon several months ago, and I was talking to a couple people that's from kind of the greater Barbersville, Huntington area, and they, through conversation, realized that you worked at Village Caregiving. And they were just going, they had attended church with your parents and
Me too, yeah.
and with you as well, and had mentioned even that maybe you had an angelic voice. This lady proclaimed, now I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Really?
But this lady proclaimed, and she said, LeeAnn Woda has the prettiest voice of anyone I've ever heard.
How have you never told me this? You rascal, you. Keeping this hidden talent to yourself.
Would you guys like to do a
know.
duet?
Well,
Yes.
I'll tell you what, let's go
Let's do
karaoke
it.
sometime
Let's
and
do
we'll
it.
tear it up.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
I love
so-
karaoke.
Well-
I did have a tragic karaoke accident once, though.
Oh, really?
Dislocated my ankle.
What?
Singing karaoke. That's a story. That would take the whole podcast, but yeah. So, no stages. Just
Fell over a couch?
no. I fell off of a stage.
Off the stage.
Oh, okay. There was a stage.
It was a stage, so
Ouch.
no stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I bet I know where you were.
What?
Sharkies?
Yep. You
How did
betcha.
I know? I've done some
Absolutely.
karaoke there
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
And there's a stage that you can take a spill.
It's a tall stage.
Yep.
Really? And
With
off
no
of it,
steps
you
off of
Do you
it.
remember what song you were doing?
I do.
Which song was it?
It was "Alone" by Heart.
Oh,
that's
that's
my
a
go-to
great
karaoke song.
song,
Yeah. I bet you just killed it.
Well, the lady when I right before I blacked out on the floor said, "Honey, you can't sing like that and then not get up." And I blacked out.
I saw one of the funniest things I've ever seen at that place with my wife, Sarah, and Wade McGlone of Village Caregiving. We're on stage doing a duet karaoke together. I think it was like Return of the Mac.
Oh my gosh.
It's a disaster. And I'm sitting there watching. This is only the three of us were there. And I'm watching this on stage. Sarah, at one point, just totally abandons Wade on the song. She stops singing and just starts dancing a little bit. Now it's just Wade, and he's not getting the words. And then he stops too. And there's this moment of silence. And then Wade just looks at the crowd and he goes, "This was a mistake." That's all he said. I mean, I about fell out of my chair. Anyways, okay. Let's talk about work.
Well, so I kind of bring up your connection to Barboursville, and that the lady, she was very complimentary of your family and of you, and she was kind of talking about just your commitment and contributions to the Barboursville area, and generations of that really is kind of what she was saying. How, when you look at leaving a national banking company that is prestigious and established, and you, years ago when you made the jump over like me, you came to a very young Village Caregiving. How much did that, who we are as an organization within the community here locally, did that play into the role of you aligning with like the company that we are?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was huge. Obviously, I mean, like you said, I worked with Ben in banking, and I just really respected Ben. I mean, he's younger than me, but he kind of feels like a father figure, you know. I go to him for advice, and when he came to Village Caregiving, I knew it had to be something special. He was very well respected in the banking industry, you know, just had a real pathway to continue moving up, and for him to make the jump to Village Caregiving, I knew it had to be something special. And then, of course, my family were close friends with Corey Watson and his family, and I'd heard all about the wonderful things that Village Caregiving had been doing since he started with the company. He'd been with the company, I think, maybe a year whenever I came over. And then, of course, seeing Village Caregiving signs at the ball field, I mean, near and dear to my heart, you know. So it was cool to see, you know, I came from a corporate world where we didn't support the community. I mean, people would come and ask for a $50 donation, and we couldn't even do that, you know. And just to see the way that Village Caregiving gives back and supports the schools and the little leagues and, you know, the kids, it's just, I mean, that was huge for me. That was a huge part of why I wanted to come here. And just the, you know, the idea that I was going to be right in Barboursville. I mean, I always joke that I can't even get through one song on my, you know, my YouTube music before I get to the office. I'm so close. I mean, I can hear the bell ring from the kids' school from my office if, you know, if it's quiet. So just being right there in town, I mean, that was a huge perk for me.
Cool. So now that you're here and you've been here for a couple of years, is it real? Is the things that you saw through Corey, saw through Ben, experienced in the community, do you experience that every day as well?
Absolutely. Every day. And I think somebody said on one of the podcasts they were waiting for the other shoe to drop. I mean, I kind of still feel like that a little bit after 3 years. I mean, I know it's real and, you know, I'm living it, but I mean, it's just, I couldn't ask for anything better. I've never once in 3 years like woken up and dreaded coming to work.
Yeah.
I always enjoy coming to work. I mean, you know, my kids will say like, "Can you just stay home with us?" Like, I mean, I enjoy going to work. I don't dread it. And I love that we're doing the right thing. We're doing, you know, I can be proud of where I work. So I'm thrilled to tell people I work for Village Caregiving because I know our reputation in the community.
Yeah. And I believe her. You know why I believe that?
Why?
Because she's hired a bunch of people from the community that she's friends with. And so through that, you've built a team in the billing department, right? How big is the billing department now? Do you know?
I have 6 now, getting ready to hire a 7th.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe I've been here long enough that it went from LeeAnn to...
I know. And I was thinking about that this morning. I mean, I was doing all of it and still having some time to help Jeff with some little projects here and there. And now it's just grown exponentially to the point that it's hard to even keep up with hiring people to handle all the billing. So.
Do you remember how many officers there were when you started?
I don't.
When was it exactly?
It was 2020, June 2020.
Okay.
I want to say.
It had to be less than 10, right?
Yeah, we had to be somewhere between 8 and 10.
I think 9 maybe.
Because Pikeville would have been open, Ashland.
Wow, that's crazy that it's changed that much.
I mean, it was just West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's moments like this when we actually kind of reflect on it because on a day-to-day basis, you're just doing stuff.
Yeah, right.
But that's neat that you've seen so much of that change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
That's been cool to watch. I mean, it's something new every day. You know, every day we're talking about a new place we're going, and it's exciting.
Yeah. You know, for me, when we sit in meetings, and sometimes the department heads will get together a couple times a month and kind of go through several things. And what's really cool is whether that's compliance or it's billing or it's legal or whatever the department is, when a vision is cast and we say, this is where we're going, or we're going to add a new payer source, or we're going to go after a state-funded Medicaid program, or what, that group, there's never groans, there's never oh, we can't do that, or that's a bad idea, or no more, I'm tapping out. I listen to a lot of business podcasts, and a lot of folks will talk about well, I left this company because they were so resistant to change, they were so resistant to doing something different. It's really unique in the culture of our organization where we don't have meetings like that. I mean, there are times where it's like, well, I don't know, right now is the best time for that. Or, well, we better get these ducks in a row. I know the other day we had a meeting and there was a new idea thrown out, and you were like, I'm cool with that as long as we do A, B, and C. And if we check those boxes, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm pretty intentional and adamant about not wanting to be that way. I've agreed to go along with some changes, even though, frankly, I didn't think they were going to work. But sometimes it's more important to just make sure you do it. You can't fall into the trap and the rut of just never wanting to.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, then you'll figure it out later. But you always got to be doing that, man. I mean, you could easily be, I think, a roadblock in that growth. Throughout the last 3 years, you could have easily been like, no to Indiana, or no to that program, or whatever.
Yeah.
You could have been like, nope, I'm tapping out. That's too much. But you've always been like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's
we have.
Yeah, we talk about that at the director level as well. We'll figure it out. We'll take the client, we'll take the job, and we'll figure it out. And that goes all the way up the ladder into your department as well. So, what do you contribute the success of the billing department to with you guys? I mean, because you guys are incredible at what you do. I would say there's almost never an error, because you never see it. You guys do a great job. You have a great team, and I don't think anyone in this company could even tell you who bills what, because it's all so clean that you're not like, oh, that's, I know who billed that one, right? How do you do that?
I feel like I've just got really great people working. So I've kind of got, a lot of my friends that I've hired are people that are fantastic employees. They're fantastic people. They're very detail oriented, and they just want the flexibility to be able to take their kids to school in the morning, or to be able to do a class party or something like that. And so it's the perfect job for them. They work part-time. If they want to bill at midnight, they can, So, I've gotten great people that I think, otherwise, if we had a strict 8 to 5, I may not have those people.
Absolutely.
So I'm very careful in who I hire. So I've got some fantastic people who are very detail oriented and take pride in their work. They're all bought in. Some of them are, relatives of people. Everybody has a connection to Village Caregiving somehow. So we just have a really great team. I'm just lucky, I guess. And I just kind of oversee all of it.
Yeah, I will attest to that. I don't deal with them obviously nearly as much as you do, but some interaction. I could name the entire team. Bet you can't do that. But whenever LeeAnn was hired, I was doing, I think, all of it, right? Well, no, the offices were doing some individual things, but the reconciliation piece.
You were doing that.
Right. And, I like to think I was pretty good at that. I took a lot of pride in it. The error rate was really low. So then I met LeeAnn, and of course Ben had bragged on you and Corey and just said, she is going to be the best. She's like a forensic investigator, man. She will find every last nook and cranny for pennies and mistakes that we've made so we can refund them, do everything right. And I remember when we first met there in that old conference room. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Vividly.
Yeah.
I was terrified of you.
Really?
Yeah, did I ever tell you that?
I don't remember.
I was scared. Yeah.
Because I was asking hard questions?
Yeah, and you were just, you were very serious, which you should have been. That was a big deal to give that up. So.
Back in the day, whenever I would do more interviews, I would throw out one math question. Do you remember that?
I think you did, yeah.
And, especially for this role, it's a big numbers role. And the other guys in the office, the Matt and Andrew and Ben's, they would get really embarrassed when I would ask something. I'd say, let me just ask you this. What's 65% of 30? But then LeeAnn, most people just kind of, and they're like, oh, it's not a pop quiz because I can tell they're not. She's like, 19.5. I was just like, it was very clear right away.
But can you see why I was scared? I mean, that's a little intimidating.
That is pretty
I mean,
bad.
Yeah.
No. Well, first off, LeeAnn, by the way, is a genius. I'll say it's because she's not going to. She's like one of these talented, gifted kids so her intellect's off the charts.
Under her
for
name
the record
on the podcast, that's going to say genius.
Can we work that on there? Okay.
Please don't.
Well,
I'll never hear the end of it.
But it was very clear that you were going to be excellent at the job from day one, and you have been. I say this a lot. I mean this as much as any compliment I've ever given. We could have looked for 100 years to try to find somebody to do this job as well as you've done it, and we might not have found that person. It's perfection.
Thank you.
And you have hired a great team too. Mm-hmm. I'll bet even you would have to admit you're surprised at how excellent they all are.
Absolutely.
They defy statistical norms. Yeah. The error rate is really low. It's really incredible, and you got a great group. Mm-hmm. From, I think the second one was Parnian, right? Adkins.
She was first.
Well, yeah.
Oh, second after me. Yeah. Yes.
And then Christy Jordan, Jeanette Trent, and then I get a little. Was it Molly Watson next? Heather Canterbury, Lori Reynolds.
Yep.
Exactly. Who's the seventh person?
Can
we reveal this?
Yeah, I mean, her name's Tara McClure. She is actually good friends with Parnian and Heather. So she comes, I know her personally, not professionally, but she comes highly recommended from those two who I trust with my life. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I have no doubt that she'll be fantastic, just like the rest.
Did
I get everybody?
Yeah, you got everybody.
Accidentally leave somebody out. Okay.
Yep.
And then Wade. You and Wade, you guys share the back end of the hallway upstairs, right? The front end is Anna and Danielle, which congratulations to Anna and Brian. They just had their first child, right? So that's really exciting.
Welcome, little Claire.
We have a little VCG mascot.
That's
I
right.
like it.
So Wade is your next door neighbor.
Yes, he is.
How's that working out?
That's good. It's good. It's nice. We can talk back and forth, and
maybe you guys should do some karaoke together one time.
Maybe we should. I mean, Return of the Mac. How could I say no to that? Right? It's good.
What if you just started playing it upstairs? Do you think he would know his part?
I think that's exactly what I'm going to do when I go back to the office.
Video this, please.
Yes.
That would be great. So Wade's been on the podcast before. Did Wade give you any tips for when you come down on the podcast?
No, I know he was a little anxious about it too, but he told me, it's not bad. It'll be fine. So
cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun having him down in studio. So that was really great. Well, cool. So when we look back over the time at Village Caregiving, if you had to throw out the thing you're probably most proud of in either for Village Caregiving as a whole or in your department, without putting you on the spot, what do you think that would be?
I don't even think that puts me on the spot. I think I could answer that at any given moment. So, I mean, for me, my past life in banking, I was a compliance person. So I was the person that looked for all the shady things going on. And, you're in the corporate world, there are bonuses. There's a lot of sketchy stuff. I've seen some stuff, let me tell you. A lot of fraud, a lot of, things like that. But the thing that I love about Village Caregiving is that I can go to bed every night and know that everybody is doing the right thing. I can be proud of what we're doing. I know that we're doing things right. I know that, we just have integrity. And that's that's really important for me in a job. I mean, I can't stress that enough. And that was huge for me when I came here and realized that everything that we're doing with integrity. And I think that just continues to get better as we get better with compliance and things like that. And that's the thing that I'm the most proud of. I'm proud that I know that if I have a friend that has a family member that needs care, I know they're going to be well taken care of. Like I will 100% recommend, hey, call up Adam and David. And, that's huge for me.
Yeah, I know you mean that. I like to ask this question sometimes. Where do you get those values from?
I think family. My parents, my dad was, probably my friend from church probably talked a lot about my dad. Yeah. My mom and dad are both, that's really important to them. They're hard workers. That's always been a family value, I think, just passed down.
Yeah.
So I've said it on the podcast before, and I say it in interviews and in training, that a lot of companies say, we do the right thing, right? We'll always do the right thing. I've been in unique situations, this organization, where we have had opportunities to do the wrong thing, or maybe not intentionally the wrong thing, but there could have been shades of right or wrong or whatever. And I've lived through the experience of the guys saying, no, we're just going to do it this way. That's the right thing to do is this, and that's what we're going to do. I heard recently on a podcast where someone said, once you set your core values, then the process is just executing those core values. Like the decision's already been made. If we're an ethical company and you can't treat people bad, then we just have to decide what happens when someone is treated poorly, right? That we don't have to decide whether we want to be a company that treats people. We've already made that decision. And our core principles are do the right thing, use common sense, right? Have you had experiences in your time here in billing where you've had to go to them and be like, hey, here's this situation, and they had an opportunity, make more money for the company, do something that maybe isn't on the right side of history, and what option did they pick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely come up. I mean, it's when the billing department, we kind of see it all, like in kind of an overview of it, and it's definitely come up. And there have been times that it would have been a whole lot easier to just do nothing or keep going, with the way we've been doing things, and we've never taken that option ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always done the right thing.
I'm with you. We're in different parts of the organization. Our worlds don't always overlap. But I go to bed with that same thought every evening, that we're just doing the right thing every opportunity that we get. And if we don't know, Matt Walker's notorious for saying this, if we're doing something wrong, tell us.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it wrong tomorrow, just tell us.
Right.
And so there's, I think another thing, this kind of is a new thought of mine, right? I'll be brief on this. I thought as a child that when you look at, say Procter & Gamble, right? You got these massive, GE, right?
Yeah.
That they know all the rules. They know everything. It's all black and white, and then they just have to go through the process. But as I've matured into business, I've realized there is a ton of gray area. Anytime we go to do something new, we go to a new state, we go to a new payer source, the first thing that I realize is there is going to be a lot of gray areas, and we have to decipher off education and past experience what is going to be our right approach to this. Because a lot of times states will say, well, just do what you think is right, or just follow the regulation, right?
Yeah, in home care especially, it's a younger industry, and it is so different state to state, VA to VA. Any program doesn't look like the one next door, so it's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the nice thing about the common sense principle. And I mean, I think Ben would attest to this too. There were so many times in banking that our hands were tied. There were things that we knew were the right thing to do. We knew it was the right thing to, cash this check for this customer, this or that. But we had rules and regulations that you were, being tested on to make sure you were doing the right thing. And, maybe it wasn't always the right thing. So common sense goes a long way. I mean, I think that's huge. And I will say Ben, was always the one that would question these procedures we had in place that didn't make sense, that didn't benefit anybody, that weren't the right thing for the customer. And now, everybody's able to use that common sense here.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that don't always make sense, we have a segment.
Sorry. Scared of where this is going.
We have a segment on this podcast. It's called the Fishbowl. All right, and as a faithful viewer, you understand where these thoughts come from.
I do, yeah.
They much like you like how I. Oh, anyways, LeeAnn, let me ask you a question. How often do you wash your blue jeans?
I only wear them one time before I wash them. Sorry. It's probably not the answer you want to hear, is it?
What's the maximum?
Well, it's a good answer for you, not so good for me.
Yeah.
How often do you wear them?
I'm
afraid to answer that now.
Jeff, let me ask you a question. Have you ever washed your blue jeans?
Yeah. Well,
I feel like they stretch out and then they don't fit right.
Well, whenever I wash my blue jeans, they shrink up real bad.
That's true. Yeah, that happens.
Then I can barely
Maybe
get them on.
Maybe wear a different style of blue jeans. Maybe that's the difference.
Well, plus, my thing is, do pants get that dirty?
I don't know.
I
mean, how often before I say, do you wash yours?
I will let mine go longer than Danielle will allow me to go. So sometimes I have to hide them. Like, I'll fold them and put them back. Because I don't think they need to be washed every time.
I think it might be, months.
Oh, that's
Months?
too much. No, I meant like I would wear
Maybe not
I'm breaking
6,
into your house
but maybe
to do your
like 1 or
laundry.
2. I might go a month or 2.
No.
Well, plus I don't wear them every single day. I'm trying to make it sound better now. Yeah,
I watched-
that's
I'm
not good, is
terrified
it?
right now.
I watched
Yeah,
this man one
everyone-
time. We went on a 3-day trip and he didn't pack pants. All right. He wore the pants for the trip. We went to a lot of different places. We went to nice places, casual places. We walked a lot. By the end of the trip, things were falling out of his pockets because there was holes in them. He literally threw the pants away and just got new pants.
Over time. You know what? I hate to say, he's not lying. I had those pants so long, the holes started forming in the pockets so bad that like 3 times on the trip, my cell phone was sliding down my leg and I had to dig it out of my
I
pants.
bet they were the most comfortable pants you owned, though.
Well, yeah, and they were very versatile. Now,
Yeah.
you could look good riding on a camel or going to fine dining in these things.
I've seen him do both. So
I've seen pictures.
same day.
Yeah.
LeeAnn, you're from the banking industry. We've established this, and your office was in a bank, right?
Yep.
And in the bank, a lot of times they have money. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Have you
a little bit of
ever
money.
thought, "Gosh, money smells bad"?
Yes.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
stinks.
Yeah, it does.
Smells kind of musty. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Especially, I mean, the longer it circulates, the worse it gets. I
Do
mean,
you think that?
the new money kind of has it has a scent, but it's not bad. But the longer it's,
I don't have my wallet in my pocket, or I'd pull
Gross.
something out and shove it in your nose.
I mean, I've seen money before, Jeff.
Well, did you smell it?
No, I don't. We've talked about this before. Why do you and Matt are really putting things up to your nose and inhaling it?
I'm not trying to. You can't help but smell it sometimes.
yeah.
I guess if you have stacks of it sitting around you,
I
there.
counted a lot of it, so it's
Right. He's ridiculous.
you wouldn't believe this. Some of it comes in smelling like
Ugh. Yeah.
illegal
Why
substances.
is that, though? I mean, well, that's different. But
Yeah.
why does money kind of stink?
I mean, you think about people put it in their
Sweat and
yeah,
oils, and it
in
just
their
collects.
pockets, and there's people put it in their shoes. Like, people are gross.
I'm with you on this one.
People are gross.
Hey, you know what? I got a surprise for you. We can gang up on Aaron for a minute.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I do some digging. All right. Normally involves a call to his wife.
Real investigative
Danielle.
journalism here. We're seeing Barbara Walters over here.
She has told me that he has a hidden talent.
Really?
I am,
Pick that
Can you
piece of,
sing also?
no,
Pick that
I
piece
am
of paper
not-
back
no,
up.
I am not doing. I know where this is going, and I'm not participating.
You don't know where it's going.
I know 100% where it's going. All right.
What? Where?
You're going to try to get me to talk in a British accent.
God, he's right. I was hoping he would say something, then I'd have 2 in the can. Well, anyways, I was going to say he has a really hidden talent for perfect impersonation of various accents. And I wanted to see if you would just read that in a British accent.
Can't do it. It always comes out pirate. And I don't know why.
That's
Well,
what I
then
heard.
read it like a pirate.
Please give us one shot.
take
Be
the
a good
pirate,
sport.
too.
Let's hear it.
It's going to be so bad.
Well, pick the other one. It's a longer sentence.
No, I can't. That's what I'm saying. Even when it starts to come out, it feels piratey.
Well, arg, matey, get it on.
What's your best British accent?
How often do you wash your blue jeans?
Can you say it?
No. I
Welcome
can't.
to the Secret VCG Experience. Your host, Aaron Gostin, LeeAnn Woda. I'm Jeff Stevens. It's been a pleasure. This
That's
is kind of
pretty
fun.
impressive.
I might just go like that the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
No, come on.
No,
Come on, Blackbeard.
it will sound like Forrest Gump trying to be piratey. Have you heard me talk?
All
If I
right.
have anything down, it's my accent. I mean, listen to me. All right, it's
Call up Danielle for another.
yeah. I just can't. It's so bad.
Okay, well, it was fun trying.
Do you have any secret talents besides your superior vocal abilities?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
I don't either.
Spreadsheets and nerdy stuff. I mean, just that's
My
my.
goodness.
People ask that question a lot, and I never have one. I never have an answer for that either.
No.
Hidden talent.
I don't have any.
No, I wouldn't have told you about singing either. But
Well,
somebody ratted me out.
That makes me think that there could be more. So if you have knowledge of LeeAnn Woda, I'm just kidding. The hotline, it's lighting up over here. Let's take some calls. Well, LeeAnn, a new hidden talent of yours is podcast guest. You have been a superior guest.
Thank you.
And maybe the best guest out of the billing department. We'll see if Wade.
That's a shot at me and Wade, I think.
Oh, it's
Well,
definitely
not
Wade.
Duke, yeah.
Yeah. I'm kidding. But no, seriously. You survived a podcast.
Survived. I did it.
Yeah, you had mentioned you were anxious, but
Yeah.
no one would ever know. You did great. And we've really enjoyed having you down. Hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah,
Thank
hopefully
you.
you'll come back. What if we just got the whole billing crew together? Had Wade and LeeAnn come down, and then we could just pick on Wade the whole time.
Bring Jeremy Sissel into finance
Yeah,
discussion.
there you go.
That would
Man,
be-
that would be fascinating.
that would be
We're really
huge.
fascinating people.
I would just turn my mic off and sit back.
It's a pretty unique group, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I never thought about it much.
Yeah.
We should
We're
do
all
that.
pretty different, I think.
All right.
All right. Well, LeeAnn, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Jeff, thank you for, again, all that you do.
It's important.
LeeAnn, we always end by cheers, all right? So
All right.
go ahead and grab your cup and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.